You might remember these from my Warlord review. This is the Warlord Games box set of Prussian Landwehr, and what we're going to do in this video is basically make it from a 24-man unit into a 32-man unit with the addition of some extra miniatures. So let's go and have a look at the miniatures that I'm going to add. These then are the Perry boxes that I bought to make the Warlord Landwehr battalion up to my 32-man battalion. Start off with PN39. PN39 is the command groups. Now there are two command groups in here, but I won't be using all of them. I'll be using this chap as an officer in one of the companies. This chap is another officer in the company. This chap. But I won't be using the two drummers. You can't buy them individually from Perry, you can only buy the set, so although I might use one of the drummers to replace the original drummer that came with the Warlord. I'm a bit uncertain yet, I'll have to have a think about that. But they are, well, you expect from Perry Metallics, just brill. So we shall get all these cleaned up and ready. And then from the PN43 box, these are just standard Landwehr, and I'll use a couple of these, so I might actually use all of them and just replace certain, just the odd figure here and there of the Warlord. I don't know yet, I haven't decided what I'm going to do, but yeah, they're quite nice, as you say. Give them a clean up and pop them in. Right then, painted them up. This is the these are the Perry miniatures that I've done to add in to the what's the name? The Warlord box set. They are slightly different sizes to the Warlord ones, obviously, but even the Warlord metals are a bit smaller. We'll see when I put them on the base, you'll see what I mean. But no, they're quite. I quite like the poses and stuff for these. They're quite lovely, as you'd expect from Perry. See, the thing with Perry is that you know, the humanity and the action and the dynamism comes out in the figures, and obviously that shows, you know, like the officer there in his earnest attempt. This guy telling somebody to do something. This chap over here having a little talk at somebody. This one as well over here. You can't see him because he's off the camera. Yeah, they all look nice. They've all got good, interesting sort of poses. Slightly different poses to the Warlord ones. The only problem, or the only disappointment, is the quality of the castings of these were a bit shoddy, in my view. I think the moulds that they're taking these from are coming to the end of their life, and it was a bit of a disappointment, to be honest. I did lose a bit of enthusiasm. This chap here on the end, you might notice he's slightly darker than the rest. That's because I'm just experimenting with a new varnish. It's one of the things I do sometimes is when you know, I'll just experiment on one miniature to see what it looks like. If I like it, then I'll change varnishes. But yeah, so what we'll do now is I'll get them based up. I'm not going to go through the basing procedure or anything like that. I mean, we all know how to base. I've got loads of videos on the channel about basing and the sort of materials that I use, so next time you see these, they should be ranked up in the into these. so that rather than there being 6, there'll be 8 on the base. So yeah, well, like I say, I'll just quickly show you. If you notice, they are slightly smaller and slightly slighter, but then the metallics that Warlord put in the box are, if you actually do look, you will see that they are slightly smaller and slightly slighter as well. So, you know, I don't think it's going to matter particularly. Right, so I'll go and get them based now. Just quickly, I thought I'd take this opportunity to show you how a way I've discovered of doing static grass. Now, some people may already know and do this method, but it's dead good. It's obviously with static grass, you usually need a applicator of some description, but I've got this way of making it sort of work without an applicator, and because applicators don't particularly work brilliantly on 28mm. You don't. The distance between the base and the thing is too far for the static, and then sometimes you have to buy the trays and things. So anyway, you start off obviously in the usual way by putting a bit of PVA on the base. I just use, excuse me, let me take the brush out of my mouth. I just use this Evo stick wood glue, and I just water it down a bit, and I find it perfectly brilliant. So what I'll do is I'll now carry on just putting glue on the base. I don't want to teach Grandma to suck eggs, and we'll come back when I've finished. So I put all the PVA on that I want to put on. Take it off my little paint pot that I've been holding it on. Then we get this tub. Now this tub is basically deep enough to hold that stand of miniatures. In it there's some static grass. Right, so on the lid I put some blue tack. I'll put the base on that, like so. Right, so it's stuck on. Get my tub, turn it over, put this on the top, seal it, and then essentially I'm just going to turn this over like so. I've got my base in there with the static grass, and then just move it up and down like that. Right, don't do it too vigorously, otherwise the base will fall off the lid. But that movement up and down, it's creating a charge across the grass, and it's also well, I think it's creating a charge and coating the base. Right, so do that for a bit. Right, so it's done. Turn it over, give it a pat to pat off any loose stuff. Take it out. Take it off. There you go. The static grass is on. So I'll show you a bit more detail later when I've got the flowers and things on, but I thought it was quite a tidy way of doing it, and it also makes the grass stand up, so good stuff. Here they are then, all based up and finished. This is the Warlord plastic Prussians and the Prussian Landwehr with the addition of a few Perrys. I'll just point out some of the Perrys. That's a Perry, that's a Perry, that's a Perry, that's a Perry. And if we open up to the back here, oops, he's a Perry, he's a Perry, that's a Perry, and that chap's a Perry. So as you can see, it's made it into a much more interesting unit, much more interesting battalion. There's a bit of stuff going on. We have this officer here giving a talk to that guy there, and deep in conversation. This chap is having a look across to see what's going on, as is he, so he must be hearing him. This officer here is now encouraging these lot to go forward, and these all look a bit downtrodden, and we have the little that's the original officer from the Warlord pack over there. So, like I say, in my view, they turned out looking well. They're quite an interesting unit with, now that we've seen them finished, and based up to my stuff. And I think it will have cost me about £28 in total. Well, maybe 30 odd. It's about £32, I suppose, with postage and all that sort of stuff. But not a bad way of getting together a really acceptable unit of Prussian Landwehr for a war games table. So I hope you found it useful, and next we're doing a Calpe unit, so that should be pretty interesting to see. So thanks for watching, and catch you later. Bye.